What's happening, guys? Silent Mike, Super Training Gym. Took some questions off Instagram. Make sure you're following me at Silent Mike with 2Ks. And someone was asking about barbell bent over rows, kind of maybe what's their use for strength and also hypertrophy. I don't know if they're asking how to do them necessarily, so I'm gonna twist this question a little bit. Before we get started, give your boy a subscribe, thumbs up right here. Like the video if you guys like it. I'm pushing hard, a video every other day for you guys. Informational vlogs on the way. But when we talk about exercise selection is one of the major keys in priority, top to bottom, of creating a program for you and your goals. So once we decide our goals, maybe a time limit, when we want to hit those goals, we have to be pretty exact with our goals. Then we start to go to perhaps exercise selection, and that is in priority of most bang for your buck. So you want to do the exercises that, one, get the most out of them, and two, fit your program and your goals. So, you know, when you talk about bang for your buck, you're talking about compound movements. Basically, the definition of a compound movement, the power lifts, squat, bench, deadlift, but we're talking about things that are multi-joint movements. You're doing a chin-up using your shoulder, elbow, and your wrist. There's 3 joints involved with the chin-up. You're doing a preacher curl. You basically just have your elbow moving. So that's because of isolation. Isolation and compound are kind of 2 ways you can break things up. And we're talking more bang for your buck, you want to go towards those compounds. So when I'm making a program for for you guys with the Kaizen, we have that fat loss program. Maintain your strength, lose your fat, that's now available in description. Just launched it. I ran it all summer without telling you guys. Dan ran it pre-comp as an off-season program. Smokey ran it as an off-season. I've had a bunch of different people. Omar ran it for a little while. But when I'm programming and I'm trying to figure things out and I'm looking at the goals, I have to select the exercises that are going to help me towards those goals. So if I'm a power lifter, that's going to be squat, bench, dead. I have to get better at those movements to get them stronger to perform as a power lifter. From there, I might take 1 or 2 exercises variation of the squat, bench, dead that will help me get better at the squat, bench, dead. So squat, you have the pause squat, maybe the front bar squat, maybe you have the high bar squat, the low bar squat, a pit shark, maybe lunges even. For the bench, you have close grip, floor press, overhead press, slingshot press. There's a bunch of different things. Those are some of my favorite. For the deadlift, you have conventional and sumo, you have block pulls, you have deficits, maybe a little bit of bands, stiff legs, and then even good mornings. Those are kind of my favorite for each of those. So you have to choose some of those, how you're going to fit those into the program. And then the biggest thing for an off-season program or a building muscle program or even just longevity in powerlifting is the back. So in my eyes, we need some kind of horizontal row and some kind of vertical row. My favorite is probably the bent over row. The bent over row is going to work your hamstrings, glutes, and low back as stabilizers. While you're working your lats and your grip, I like to do them double overhand to work my grip and build up those lats. The vertical row, I like the chin or vertical pull, I guess you want to call it. Chin up, pull up, any kind of pull down, chin up on a cable if you cannot perform body weight versions. And then the last piece for me is the face pull. It is a little bit of a prehab movement, but it really gets some little muscles that you need to get involved. The rotator cuff, rear delt, traps, those external rotators to kind of stay healthy with all the pressing we're doing. Same reason with the bent over row and the vertical pull is we're just trying to balance out all the pressing we're doing. Now, when you're talking bang for your buck also, you want to talk about the multi-joint movements, but not only those, but how much weight you can move in that movement. That's why powerlifting and the power lifts are kind of the basis of every strength sport. So most bodybuilders bench, squat, or deadlift in some nature. Strongman bench, squat, and deadlift in some nature. Even weightlifters do some kind of squat, pull, and press because those are the ones to overload the muscles and build more strength. An overhead squat is a great movement for a weightlifter to work on their overhead positioning, their balance, their control in the snatch position and the catch, but the amount of weight they'll use in the overhead position is not the same stimulus to build their quads, glutes, and hamstrings as a normal front squat or a back squat, because the front squat and back squat, you're going to be handling maybe 80%, 120% the load you can with an overhead squat. So take that into account when you're programming. If you're trying to build a bigger back for purely bodybuilding aesthetics, there are a couple more factors involved rather than just one horizontal and one vertical. And when I say that, you can do multiple, but those are the basic pulls. Often I like to do kind of an elbows out horizontal pull with a cable and a wide bar or a wide grip where I'm kind of working the upper back, rear delts, and then one more where my elbows are tucked in and I'm pulling into my hip. When I'm pulling into my hip, I tend to flex the lats a little bit more. So the close grip, even though that's kind of counterintuitive, people say wide grip builds a wide back, close grip builds a thick back, where actually a closer grip on the row and a closer grip on the chin up often will flex the lats more if you're pulling those elbows in and down. The other one will work more upper back, kind of rhomboids, trap area. So those are the main ways I work my back. Currently, I'm experimenting with the next program, so I'm hoping to release for you guys. So I'm doing a lot of pulling about 3 days a week, upper back hypertrophy stuff, trying to build a bigger back and arms. Obviously, last piece to a powerlifting or bodybuilding are the isolation movements. So there is a time and place for your biceps, triceps, calves, isolation delt movements, etc. It's just about monitoring when and how you're going to use them. If you're spending, 2/3 of your workout on your biceps and you're a power lifter, then you're probably not getting good enough, efficient enough with the bench squat deadlift. Not to say that bigger biceps won't help you bench squat deadlift, because the more mass you have overall, I believe will, especially with pressing. It's a big de-accelerator in the bench press, but we have to manage our time and, as I mentioned in the beginning, prioritize our exercise selection. That's about it for this one. There will be a video coming out next on isolation exercises, particularly the tricep, because I got another question about tricep pain, managing that while still building up big, strong triceps for pressing movements. So bench press more weight, work on your triceps in the next video. Be sure to subscribe for that. Appreciate you guys. Traveling coming up, more vlogs. I'm out of here.